Mind yourselves when you get in. Try to talk less but observe more. If the time is right, I'll introduce you around. Saren, I can trust you more than I do Jasmine. Watch Jasmine so she stays out of trouble. The Wilt Spoon Hotel is one of the hotels the richest family owns. The family's heirs might be here tonight. Rachel then whispered in her niece's ear, Jasmine, it would be a great blessing to our family if you win the heart of one of the heirs. The family tends to keep a low profile and adopts healthy family values. Most importantly, the men in that family are decent enough not to have mistresses. My daughter isn't at the age to marry yet. Otherwise, I would have saved the chance for my daughter. What's the last name of the richest family? York. York. Now, isn't that peculiar? Jasmine nudged her best friend as Serenity's new husband shared the same last name. Serenity knew what her best friend was getting at, but she simply grinned without a word. Although her husband's last name was York, Zachary had no relation to the richest family except for the surname. It was common to share the same full name, let alone a last name. The Yorks might be made of money, but they're not snobs. The family will accept whoever their boys pick so long as the woman is of good character. The Yorks are pretty open-minded. Aunt Rachel, we'll go in then. Jasmine hastily dragged Serenity to get away from Aunt Rachel's nagging. It was Serenity's first time at the Wilt Spoon Hotel, while Jasmine had been here a few times. Leading her best friend, Jasmine nimbly grabbed 2 plates of food and hid in a corner. We don't know these ladies. They won't give us the time of day if we go up and introduce ourselves. Let's dig in, Saren. We're here to check out the scene and see what a party among the higher society is like. Serenity said with a smile, Mrs. Socks is going to kill you if she finds out you're only here for the food. Jasmine uttered without a care, look at me. Who am I to snag one of the eligible bachelors here tonight? My aunt is dreaming to think the heirs would fancy me. Saren, do I look like Miss Universe or Miss World to you? Would the heirs think I'm a catch? Let's not bother. Dig in. The Wilt Spoon Hotel's known for its gourmet food. I can finally try them tonight. Thanks to you, I get to try the food too. The pair hid in a corner as they enjoyed a great feast. Suddenly, the crowd turned their eyes to the hotel entrance. With silence filling the room, the pair, who were munching in delight, realized something was up. Serenity elbowed her best friend and asked, Jasmine, why did they stop talking? They are all facing the door. Who's there? No idea. Jasmine stood up while Serenity followed behind. Getting on their tiptoes, the pair tried to get a view of the hotel entrance, but there were too many people in between to witness the grand entrance. It was quite a bustle that drew everybody's attention. Dressed to the nines, Zachary walked into his family-owned hotel surrounded by his bodyguards. The organizer of the event tonight was a prominent figure in the business world, who was buddies with the Yorks since Zachary was head of the York family, and the party was held in his family's hotel. The least Zachary could do was to show up. His lofty build and attractive appearance, despite his tense facial muscles and standoffish presence, were like a magnet, drawing everybody's attention wherever he went. Mr. York. Mr. York. Zachary was showered with reverent greetings as he made his way through the crowd. The high-standing Sias greeted Zachary face to face. Zachary courteously nodded his head. In response to the hello, Serenity stared at the lofty build in the distance. The man was attractive and carried himself with an air of aloofness, standing with a sour face. He appeared standoffish and gave off vibes to stay away from him. Jasmine, look at that man. He's attractive, but his piercing eyes and callous lines along his facial features are telltale signs that he would not be the easiest person to get along with. Jasmine whispered, he's attractive, but his presence is enough to freeze the air. His piercing eyes scanned the room icily and profoundly without saying a word. That must be the heir of the York family. Through the crowd, Serenity caught a glimpse of the distant figure. Standing next to the high society elite, he carried himself with an air of aloofness. Serenity deduced that the economic difference between her and a man like that was too far off. Zachary fastened his gaze forward before moving through the living hall. His game face on, he proceeded to the center of the event. Sitting nearest to him were CEOs and prominent figures. They drew close and whispered, Mr. York, it's an honor to have you here tonight. Zachary shot them a glare, icily and profoundly. Scratching his nose, the CEOs straightened their backs and ended the probing. Zachary courteously nodded his head in response to the hellos, albeit his voice reflected an icy tone. I'm a busy man. Let's get it done and over with. Serenity, tucked away in the corner, kept eating. I don't run in the same circle as them. I'm not interested. It's nice even if it's just for the experience. We get to see how the top 1% live. Jasmine nudged her. Saren, look. He's the mover and shaker of Wiltspoon's corporate world. He is the heir to the richest family in Wiltspoon with a net worth of 100 billion. Zachary had looked for a pen and paper and wrote the pin down before handing it to her. I don't mind you spending the money, but I need to know what it's spent on, he had said. He made it seem like she was after his money and even told her to keep track of the purchases. His attitude rubbed her the wrong way. Serenity smiled. All right, then he could be busy since he's working in a major corporation. Let us not bother, he's the boss. His life revolves around work. He probably won't even see us tucked away here. Zachary lifted his head and noticed that all eyes were on him. His penetrating gaze scanned the room from head to toe and back. He courteously nodded his head, his husky voice coming through the silence. Back to the meeting. The CEOs were showering him with reverent greetings. Zachary let the crowd tear into the atmosphere. He was, in fact, the man who mattered most in Wiltspoon. Serenity elbowed her best friend. Jasmine, why did they stop talking? It's only a dinner party. Let's not mind it. Look at the dessert. You can't go wrong with desserts, Jasmine chuckled. That's what it's like in the books. Why are the young, hot, and rich CEOs eluding us? The Yorks are pretty open-minded, but they're still worlds apart from us. Zachary walked on ahead, surrounded by his entourage. His lofty build and attractive appearance were a magnet, drawing everybody's gaze. The high-standing CEOs greeted Zachary reverently, bowing as he passed. Mr. York, the reverence was absolute. Serenity stood in the corner, a plate of food in hand, watching as the man she had married that morning, the man she thought was an ordinary corporate worker, shook hands with the most powerful men in the city. The silence in the hotel hall was broken only by the respectful whispers directed at the man everyone called Mr. York. Serenity stared at the marriage license that was stuffed in her pocket. It was Zachary, her husband-to-be, the ruthless bastard who drove off in a luxury sedan. He was the heir, the mover and shaker, the man who had the means to support his wife and their little family. Zach is swamped with work, Serenity murmured to herself, recalling Grandma May's words. Don't take it to heart. As the CEOs bowed, Zachary reached out his right hand for a shake, his voice reflecting an icy tone. The pair, who were newlyweds in the eyes of the law, were now separated by a sea of CS and bodyguards. Serenity quietly watched from her corner as her secret husband took his place at the head of Wiltspoon's elite. Standing in the silence, Serenity realized that the economic difference between her and Zachary was not that far off until now. She quietly watched from her corner, the plates of food forgotten, as her husband, Zachary York, moved through the living hall as the man who mattered most in Wiltspoon. I won't back out on a promise, she had told him that morning at City Hall. And as she watched him, she knew she meant every word. Zachary York might be the richest man in Wiltspoon, but Serenity Hunt was a woman who kept her word. We're a family now, Grandma May had said. And as the secret wife watched her secret husband, she knew that family was going to be anything but ordinary. Let's go, Jasmine, Serenity said, her voice firm. We've seen enough for one night. But the story of Mr. and Mrs. York was only just finding its first breath in the cold October night. Zachary York, she whispered his full name for the first time. I see you. As she turned to leave, the CEOs were still bowing, and the king was still on his throne, never knowing that the queen had already arrived. Just do your thing, he had told her. And she would. Oh, she would. The Wiltspoon hotel doors closed behind them, leaving the secret billionaire to his empire, and the secret wife to her e-bike, as the two worlds of Zachary and Serenity Hunt prepared to collide in a way no one in high society would ever expect. The $100 billion husband and the $20,000 wife were headed to the same 8th floor of Block B, and Wiltspoon would never be the same again. Zachary walked on ahead, never knowing that his judge and jury was sitting right there in the corner, eating pasta and planning the rest of their lives. See you at home, Zach, she smiled into the wind. See you at home.